Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazy House, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to another art video. It is summertime, so that is the time where we get to see all the pretty sundresses on all the ladies out there, and I want to celebrate that by creating several images and several art pieces that featured black women in sundresses. So this will be the first one that I'm creating in this video. So it'll be SUNDRESS Model 1. And I wanted to do kind of like a semi-profile pose with the woman, and she'll have some locks, some dreadlocks. She'll be wearing a sun hat and a sundress and kind of looking out over the ocean. I have her like maybe standing on the pier or like a boardwalk or something like that. So that was the concept that I came up with as a thumbnail in one of my smaller sketchbooks, and I decided to just go ahead and get some Bristol board and redraw the whole thing. Alright, so as you can see here, this is the drawing process, like I said, on Bristol board, where I just took some mechanical pencils and penciled out just kind of like a basic outline, and then I went back with the pencils and kind of filled it in as to what line art I wanted. And then of course after that I took some ink and just went over it very lightly and gently with some ink, and inked out the image and make it more pronounced and have a more stabilized image. And if you want to look here, I refined those inks. I drew them by hand, but I refined them digitally with Adobe Animate. So I created this final image here, this final inked image. And if you are so inclined, if you want to do your own colored version of this sundress model in your own colors, if you want to download this image and print it out and color it yourself with color pencils or markers or whatever medium you want to, you can do that by downloading this image at my Patreon. There, I will provide a link in the description box as well as in the comment section. So now, once we finish the lines for this image, I decided to go and fill in the colors. And when I was doing the colors for this, I decided to kind of go back to a technique that I used a couple of years ago when I used to collaborate on these pinups called Flash Divas. And we would post those on the website. I think Flash Divas had a website back then, but the main place to post it was on DeviantArt. So I came up with a coloring technique that I used to use just to try to get as many pinups done in a quick process. So what I would do is I would take the line artwork that was provided to me, or that sometimes I would create myself just to, like I said, get it done as quick as possible. I was pretty fast back then. And I would take that line artwork, and then I would create several different layers as to how I was going to color this thing digitally. And I will break down those layers here with you to show you the technique that I used digitally to color in this sundress model. So it all starts out with the basic line art. Those are the outside lines, and that's usually what I export when I create coloring pages for you all on my Patreon, right? That basic line artwork is really nice, it's clean. And then I do the base color layer, and that's usually just like the basic colors that I am using for the character, and whatever the skin tone, hair color, clothing color, and stuff like that. Just like I said, the basic flat colors, so there's no real dimension to it. It's just very flat. And some people like this artwork looking like this, especially when you're doing vector art for advertising, as I have done. Sometimes you just export artwork just like this, but I go a little bit further, and I with a character like this, especially one that's wearing a sundress, sundresses are known for having very elaborate patterns. So I created a pattern layer, and that pattern layer is I created it myself. I didn't copy it from anywhere. I actually created all the flowers. I created like maybe 8 or 9 different flowers, and then I repositioned them to fit the model's form on her dress, and I colored them all. So I did all that artwork myself. I don't use AI. I don't take stuff from other places. I usually just do the stuff myself, just thinking about. I might use an example, like if I can see another dress and see what that looks like, but I created this one myself, and I created a whole separate layer on the body to showcase this model with the sundress pattern in the flat colors. And then that's when I go to add more dimensions to it and just show you what direction the light is coming from. So the light of the sun is coming from in front of her. So towards the back, that's where you get more of the darker shades and shadows. And then I add that first, a really dark layer first of like the harder shadows on her body. Then I add thus the lighter shadow area. This is just something I like to do, creating 2 shadow layers. And sometimes I do it with the highlights, but for this one I just created just 1 highlight layer. So that way, you have all those layers and put them one under the other, and that gives you the look of the basic look of how this image is going to come out. Now, this is just the basic flat version, and then I do the color correction afterwards. So the color correction is where I go into those layers and make sure the overall image fits together, as like, if it's a sunrise, sunset scene, you want to make sure all those colors match with the background. So that's why I go into those layers, and I make sure I change the tint of each of the layers and maybe soften them up or harden them up based on how I want the final image to look. So using all those techniques and putting it all together, now you get the final image, and that is what it is right here. This is the final image of my sundress model number 1, and I hope you guys like the way it looks, and I hope you like the way it came out, and I hope you got the basic idea of how I created all this. And go ahead and let me know in the comments section if you enjoyed these types of videos, and just let me know what you think of the overall image that I've created here. Anyway, this is Chris Crazy House, and I'll be signing out. Peace.